So you guys remember on Saturday Night Live when Eddie Murphy was part of the cast, he used to do a spoof on Mr. Rogers called Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Dude, it was freaking amazing. And he would come into his house. He was like living in the projects. He would come into his house. He would sing the song. He would say, "It's a hell of a day in the neighborhood, a hell of a day in the neighborhood." And then he starts talking about wanting to kill his landlord and stuff. Kill my landlord. Listen, it's a hell of a day in the PMP universe, man. There's a lot going on behind the scenes today. I had a nice lunch with my mom today, Tony. She says hello to you.
Nice.
All of the PMP Army members. My mom she's a regular viewer as well. So she's involved, but she lurks in the shadows. She's not posting comments and stuff, but she's watching. But anyway, dude, just getting out of my car and then back in my car from the lunch we had. Shout out Petaluma. What a great town Petaluma is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Any Petaluma heads on the guest line, fist in the air. I love that town. And anyway, I got totally soaked, bro. It's a hell of a day in the neighborhood, but we are here to deliver the good vibes, the good particles. Thank you for lining up already. Hey, Naomi, what's up? John Joseph, Ragman. I see you, Rags in the house. Don Peralta. Hey, Tony.
Yo.
I got a new guy I saw, or at least it's the first time my eyes have seen this name. You ready? Escobar the Third.
Dude, yeah.
Escobar the Third. I got to ask, like, anytime I hear a name like that, I always try to connect the dots. Now, ironically, I was watching that Johnny Depp movie Blow yesterday, which actually has Pablo Escobar as like one of the featured characters. I got any relation? I'm just asking you right now, Escobar the Third. Any family ties to Pablo Escobar? I'm just curious. That's all.
Paulie, have you seen the Narcos shows on Netflix that are about Escobar?
No.
Oh, I highly recommend them. Highly, highly recommend them. And we're going to get to all the Jimmy Butler and NBA and NFL and Super Bowl chatter in a sec. But
in fact, it's only real quick. Matt Maiocco, NBC Sports Bay Area 49er insider, joins us today. One of our great allies on the Murph and Mac show. And he's maybe the most trusted voice in the Niner community. So we're going to catch up with Matt Maiocco today, talk some Super Bowl, talk some Niners. And then tomorrow, all kinds of things going on. But Tony, go back to your Narcos. I just wanted to plug Matty real quick.
I also want to say with Maiocco, we're going to talk a little St. Mary's Gales hoops because the Gales and Dons go off tonight at the Hilltop at War Memorial, the Sobrato Center at War Memorial in San Francisco.
Yeah.
WCC hoops, we don't talk about it a lot, man, but the Gales are in first place. Dons are in second place. Dons are undefeated at home, 14-0. Gales are 18-3 on the season, I believe, and or 20-3. Dons are 18-6. I think that's what it is. Anyways, I went to both schools, so this is where I get torn. But I can't lose in this matchup, and I know Maiocco's a big Gales backer, so we're going to talk a little hoops too.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, Tony. I didn't go to USF, but I feel like I'm an honorary kind of member of the USF community because I've been supporting Dons basketball since I was a little kid. When my dad used to take me back in the days when they were ranked in the top 5 in the country, they had Bill Cartwright. They would play games at the Oakland Arena. It was a big deal. They were a powerhouse back then. That was before the fall, the Quentin Daly thing. But anyway, I've always supported the team. I always supported the school, and I love to see them doing well. Thanks for bringing that up. That'll be a great game tonight. I think it's a late start too, like a 9 o'clock tip or something. Like that.
I think it's like 7 or something. So maybe 8 for national. But it might be a national broadcast too. Darren Reyes, he asks, Paulie, are we doing robes today? Darren, I believe we're going to turn Tuesday into Roby Tuesday. We've been pondering the idea of just having Tuesday be the robe day of the week. So last year bringing up robes, and somebody else asked. Dean G says Thirsty Thursday, boys. We're trying to come up with a theme for Thursday as well because we've got the rest of the week kind of just labeled and marked and ready to rock. So
could we do like an herbal delish appreciation Thursday? Something like that?
I like a casual Thursday, personally.
Casual Thursday? Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't get much more casual than a robe Tuesday. And we're going to come up with our song parody to the Stones. Goodbye, Roby Tuesday. Who's going to hang a name on you? God bless. Dude. I love the freaking Stones, and I love Ruby Tuesday. In fact, I saw them play Ruby Tuesday at Levi Stadium a couple of tours back. Great song. All right, Tony, here's the situation today.
Okay, here's the situation.
Our parents went away on a month vacation. By the way, that's before he got all buffed out and started slapping dudes on stage at the Academy Awards.
Yeah, parents, exactly.
Shout out DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Okay.
Yep.
And how about the single, too? Parents just don't understand, bro. Okay,
dude.
I mean, what are we doing? Hip hop has come a long way. We've moved on from like the kids songs. Creative Tony, I want to
Yes.
talk to you about your head and how your head is there one day after letting the Jimmy Butler news kind of settle in. Great time last night, by the way. Thanks everybody for stopping by. We're having a great Rags checks it. He goes, why don't we call it an F Philly Thursday? You know what? I'll do that for today. It's an F Philly Thursday on the PMP show.
I like that too, man. Because I got to be honest though, on Friday, come Friday, I'm on the Philly bandwagon. I don't want to see the Chiefs. Dude, by the way, the Chiefs have another thing that we haven't talked about, Paulie. The Chiefs have 4 Super Bowl championships. If they win this Sunday, they tie the Niners. I don't want the tie with the Niners 5 rings. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Nor do I, buddy. Nor do I. But I want to go back. You go, okay. I want to go back to your overall mental health and your condition, your state of mind. It's about 24 hours after the Jimmy Butler news hits. How you feeling? Is it sunk in? How you feeling about it? Warriors lost a tough one last night. And Steve Kerr actually talked about how uncool it is to pop that the trade deadline should not be so close to the All-Star game, and they shouldn't announce, because they lost players last night. They were shorthanded and they almost beat Utah. But in any case, where are you, man, with Jimmy after all the news is kind of settling in?
Well, I wouldn't advise anybody to go look at his recent stat lines if you want to feel good about the move, because I was looking at like Luka's stat lines and I'm like, oh God, he's averaging like 28 a game.
He's a monster. Luka's a freaking monster. Yeah.
And he's also younger than Butler. And then I look at Butler and I mean, here, look real quick. He hasn't played since January 21st. He's only played 5 games since December 20th. January 21st, 13 points. January 19th, 8 points. January 17th, 18 points. January 2nd, 8 points. January 1st, 9 points.
Okay.
That's just, I just don't, I'm not oozing with joy and confidence, which sucks, man, because a move like this, I should be fired up and pumped and ready to go. And I'm not, I got to be honest, the whole name of this show is particles and the universal feel and the vibe. And like Neil from Longbridge Pizza says, Vibe Tribe. We're all about the vibe. I got to say, the vibe isn't like stellar.
It's not that healthy. And, you know, I was watching, so I stayed up late last night watching. You ever do that now with our new schedule? That I don't have to get up at 4 a.m., dude. There are some nights I'm just sitting around watching movies and I'll lose track of time. All of a sudden I look over, I'm like, oh, dude, look at this. It's 1:30 a.m. I should probably go to bed. So it kind of turned into one of those nights last night after our night flight. But I watched Monty Poole in the post game, and Monty Poole, who I respect, we all respect Monty Poole. He's awesome. But as a Warrior voice, but I got to say, he was voicing curiosities about the style of play that Jimmy uses as compared to the way the Warriors play with pace. The Warriors have a lot of ball movement, and Jimmy, that's not really his style. Like, he creates his own shot. He can take over a game. He's a force in the playoffs, but he's kind of a singular thing. Like, I don't know. I guess
that's the thing is, are they going to adjust to him or is he going to adjust to them? That's the whole rub here, because we talked about, and I keep going back to it, man. Like I'm riffing, of course, about a spiritual experience or a meditation, but I do think there needs to be some kind of a team meeting, some kind of a closed door meeting where they can't just expect to just walk out on the court and everything just be hunky dory. I don't see that. There has to be some. I don't know. They go out and get a cup of coffee, or they go and share a bagel. I don't know, man. But there needs to be something where they talk about the mindset and the approach moving forward, because like you said, the styles are different, the egos are different. I mean, again, we need to appreciate Steph Curry, man. Because again, he again just takes the high road. I mean, dude, he lives on the high road. Steph Curry lives on the high road, man. And it's like, I'm gonna miss him so much when he's gone. So I just appreciate how he handles everything in the public eye.
No, he's all class all the time. And Steve Kerr said it best. Steve Kerr said, I think he might be the finest human being I've ever met. And he wasn't kidding. No, there was no punchline. I mean, like, I kind of feel the same way. I've had very few encounters with Steph Curry, but the encounters I have had, unbelievably, he's everything you could hope for in a hero. In fact, dude, I tell you what, there are a lot of instances where I would advise our people on the comment line, or even you or myself, Tony, where a lot of times it's not a great idea to try to approach and meet your heroes. A lot of times you can wind up getting your heart broken, because a lot of these guys don't want to give people time. They don't care. and they could be quite surly, if not just flat out tell you to go blank yourself. So meeting your hero, like, have you ever met somebody you really admired and then were really disappointed? And luckily for us, let's be honest, the industry that we're in, the line of work that we're in, has afforded us a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of legendary Hall of Fame athletes from all generations. But have you ever met somebody like of great stature or status, and then you meet the guy or girl and you're like, God, that sucked. What a dick this guy is.
I kind of had that with Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Shut your mouth.
Well, he did our private concert at K-Fog back in the day, and he just wasn't the nicest human being. I mean, but I feel like he's such kind of an alien and a musical genius that he doesn't have what he lacks in social skills. He makes up for with his musical genius. You know what I mean?
Were you like fanboying out around him? Like,
probably.
Billy, well, that might have been what turned him off.
I was like, hey, Billy, can I wear your cape, man? Give me your cape.
Shut up. No, you didn't.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But when you say hero, Paulie, it makes me think of Bonnie Tyler and that we're all still holding out for a hero.
I wish I much would have preferred if you would have gone David Bowie, We Could Be Heroes, because that's a much stronger track if we're talking about here. Or even somebody on the text line, before they do it, I'll do it myself. Shout out Hogan's Heroes, okay? Hogan's Heroes. Any other heroes we need to acknowledge, Tony?
I mean, We Could Be Heroes, you said Bowie, but the Hero by Foo Fighters.
I need a hero. Is that the one you're talking about?
I'm talking about, dude, Bonnie Tyler, man. Can I just because and this is back in a time where this doesn't happen anymore. Check out Bonnie. Look at Bonnie.
Not
holding
bad
out for a hero, right?
Not bad at all. I like that look.
That's amazing.
I got no problem. You want to know what? I got zero problems with it. None.
Right. Same.
I say, as far as I'm concerned, I say bring it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I got to say meeting Bonds was kind of a letdown. But we don't have to go down that road. It was just like, it was more of a professional thing where he was just, it was when he was on the Ralph and Tom show with the Razor and Mr. T, and I was their producer. And it was just, it just wasn't, I didn't look forward to having him on every week. It wasn't fun.
Oh, no. Hey, I asked for other hero contributions. Rags, you win the gold star of the day. Zero the Hero. Great deep track by Black Sabbath. That's that one record they made with the singer from Deep Purple called Born Again, which is actually a pretty great album. It's just really dark and kind of weird. The devil babies on the cover, but one of the best tracks on that entire record is Zero the Hero. What you gonna be? What you gonna be, brother? Zero the Hero. Great track, Rags. Good knowledge, buddy.
Hey, Paulie, I know what you're saying though too. It's like you never ever wanted to meet Jerry Garcia because you hold him in like almost like an immortal place in your mind and soul, right? You know what I mean?
I do. You know what? I actually, this is how I feel. I feel like if you really admire somebody like that, it's a great example. I love Jerry Garcia, but if I saw Jerry Garcia, which I never did, but if I ever saw Jerry out in public somewhere, the best thing you could do is just leave him alone. Yeah. Let the guy enjoy his day. Like they get hurt. In fact, with Jerry, I heard it got so bad he couldn't even leave his hotel room.
Oh, I bet.
In the 90s. And that really did a lot of damage because he would stay in his room and get high and stuff, and it wound up killing him. But he was so fearful of like being mobbed, and he's so recognizable that anytime he set foot outside, oh my God, Jerry, and you guys, meanwhile, guys just trying to go get a cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always
when I met Les Claypool, Paulie, this is a cool little story. It was up in the town of Jenner, right there where I
know Jenner.
Oh yeah, the
right
Russian River. Yeah, it meets the coast.
Sure.
And kind of the River's Edge, I think, was the name of the restaurant. I was there, and Claypool was at the restaurant with his family. And all I did as he's walking out the restaurant, I said, "Hey, Les, just want to say thanks for the music." That's all I said. And I was expecting to just, hey, buddy, cool, and keep walking. He actually stopped, asked, because we were at such a random place. He wanted to know how we knew about this little restaurant. And he wanted to, like pulled up a chair. I mean, it couldn't have been nicer. And I was like, dude, you are surpassing what you could have done and my image of you, dude, because I already like you a lot. And hold on, real quick. J Stamp, yes.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's right. Jamar knows. No, Jamar's a monster Primus fan, dude. He's a big Claypool guy. We'll see, Jamar. Yeah. I'll see you at the next Claypool gig, I promise. That's a long time coming, but I'll see you there. Also, I saw, look at John Joseph. Dude, you went to the Born Again tour. I'm extremely jealous of that. If I could go back and do those years again, I would have gone to that gig. And I remember when that tour came through town, Quiet Riot was the opening act, at least when it was hitting the New York area. And I didn't go, and I should have. I regret not going to that one. What do you got here, John Joseph? I met Ronnie James Dio a few times. He was best remembered He was the best remembered every time we met and even knew the exact detail. Wow, that's awesome.
That's
killer. That doesn't surprise me. The one here's my one brush with one of my heroes that I met, and it went really well, just like yours with Claypool. I went to a Cheap Trick show at the Warfield, and this is probably 99. Oh, in fact, dude, we were working on the morning show together. Remember when we had Rick Nielsen on the morning show when we were on the Ticket 1050? They were doing a gig at the Warfield, and Rick sent us backstage passes. So I bought a buddy of mine, my buddy Joe Mazzi was visiting from Boston. So we go to the gig, great gig, and then we have backstage passes for after the show. So we go downstairs in the Warfield. There's like a big kind of communal area where the band hangs out. There's food, there's drinks, there's other people with passes. So we're sitting at a table. And Robin Zander, one of my heroes, one of my favorite singers of all time, he's about 5 feet away from me sitting at another table, Tony. Nice, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Look at Robin Zander right there. And my friend Joe Mazzi kept saying this over and over to me. He goes, dude, go say what's up to your boy. Go say what's up to your boy. He kept saying it. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to, bother him. He was sitting with a group of people, kept saying it. Dude, go say what's up to your boy. Go say what's up to your boy. You never get another chance to meet him. Go say what's up to your boy. So finally, I just got sick of my friend giving me shit. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I walked over, felt like such a jackass, dude. Such a freaking jackass. So I walk over there and he's sitting down and he looks at me and I was like, oh, hey, Robin, sorry. I didn't want to interrupt anything. I just want to say, hey, great show tonight. And you sounded amazing. Dude, pushes his chair out from the table, stands up, shakes my hand. We had like a 15-minute conversation. I was asking him questions. Yep. I was asking him questions about certain songs and like how he sings this one part. And he was unbelievably cool.
Damn, that's cool. That's like in depth, dude. That's pretty sweet.
Dude, he pushed away from the table, stood up to talk to me. I was like, dude, you didn't have to do that. Sorry, Robin. But anyway, I was a little starstruck. That was one of the only times I was like, holy cow, I'm talking to Robin Zander. Wow. I was like fanboying out inside. It was cool. But that was a good experience, man. Yes, Mark Crawford. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Dude. Are you ready to rock? Hell yeah, Mark. That's what I'm talking about.
Would you like to do a number with me?
Yeah, which, by the way, you know what that means, right? Do you know what would you like to do a number with me means?
Well, I mean, I can use my imagination.
Would you like to smoke a joint with me?
Oh, okay. Good,
yeah.
Good,
in the 70s, a number, that was slang for a joint. Like, hey, who's got a number? You got a number? Who's got the number? So a number was a J. Would you like to do a number with me? Get it, Tony? Get it?
Yeah, I do get it. Hey, dude, I want to get into Tony's top 3 because Mark Graves, I'm going to actually nominate his question as one of the top 3 questions, if you don't mind, Paulie. So I think, are you cool with us getting into Tony's top 3?
Yeah, dude, of course. I'm the biggest top 3 fan there is. Let's rock.
And we got like 12 minutes until Matt Maiocco comes on the show. So let's rock.
Okay, you got it, buddy.
Tony's top 3. Tony's top 3.
And one more.
Tony's top 3.
That's me shooting arrows. Okay. Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
See, this makes me want to do a number right here. These mellow, chill. It's like, would you like to do a number with me? I would. I would actually. Yes.
Hey, Niner Empire. The collaboration with Damon last night was excellent. He says, "Thank you very much, Niner Empire. Thank you all of you guys for joining us last night. Damon was great. We talked a ton of other stuff besides Jimmy Butler. We compared John Mayer to Jimmy Butler, which is really fun.
Well, you did. I have to make a very special announcement. The queen of the scene has arrived. Patty from Napa is in the house. What's up, Patty? I haven't seen Patty on any previous show, so thanks for stopping by, Patty. It's always great to see your name. And don't forget, she has that invite out where we can go driving in Steve Perry's Mercedes-Benz, and I really want to do that. I really do. Patty, one of these days, promise, one of these days I'm going to make the call and say, like, I need to drive Steve Perry's Mercedes-Benz. Tony, go.
Dude, there's a song, Do You Want to Ride in My Mercedes? Boy, what is that song? That is from the 80s. It's like...
Yeah, I think that's the name of the track, Mercedes Boy. Yeah. I'm dead serious, yeah.
Dude, okay, if anybody in the comment lines remember that, please help us out.
Ready for this bomb I'm about to drop?
Go.
Tony, was that by... I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. Was that by Pebbles, dude?
Pebbles? I was going to guess if it was by Climax with a K and 2 X's.
Either way, it's a win, bro. Climax, Pebbles, whatever. It's all good.
Mercedes Boy by Pebbles, Naomi.
Yes. I got it. Holy shit. I got that. Wow. Nice. I got to pat myself on the back for that one. Thanks for clarification, Naomi. Yeah.
Great. And Darren in there with Pebbles too. That's fantastic. Okay. So Mark Graves had this question and I want to pose it to you like right away, Paul, because I think it's a great question. Mark, and by the way, anytime you guys want to jump into Tony's top 3 and throw a question to the mix, get after it. Mark Graves, let me see if I can find the actual comment because I want to put it up on the screen. If not, I can just paraphrase. But he was saying basically, oh, here it is right here. Does Lacob, this is question number 1. Does Lacob still want to retire number 35 after KD says, I don't want to go back to the Warriors? That is a great question, Mark. Thank you. Paulie, you're on.
Yeah, he will. He will. He'll retire it. But I hear what you're saying, Mark. I'm kind of pissed off myself. I'm like, not pissed, but I'm like disappointed. Like that Kevin Durant was like seemed kind of surly about, no, I'm not going back there. Why would I want to go back there? It's like, really, dude? Steph Curry, your 2 championship rings, the only ones you've ever won, your only 2 finals MVP awards. Like, how bad could it have been? And I guess the only thing is that maybe he's I'm just guessing, total speculation. But you remember how badly he got clobbered for coming to the Warriors? Like the fans they crushed him. He was getting booed all around the country because he joined the enemy and stuff like that. But now it's a trend. Guys go wherever they want, anytime they want. Like Kevin Durant did it. He got really beat up for that. So maybe he doesn't want to go through that again. I don't know.
I keep reading too about how the locker room is a toxic scene in Phoenix. I'm just wondering what's going on down there. I actually was at the Phoenix Warriors game and I was watching Devin Booker a ton.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
like,
I'm not a big Devin Booker guy, but go ahead.
So I haven't been a Devin Booker guy, but this kind of gave me a new light where I'm like, he was like yucking it up with the refs and some of the fans and having a good time. And I mean, maybe it was because they were up 20 and it was kind of worry-free basketball.
That might have something to do with it, yeah.
But he seemed like a better dude than I kind of envisioned or had witnessed in the past. So I was excited about that. But then I keep reading about how it's a toxic locker room in Phoenix. And like, that's so curious, like that KD would want to stay there instead of maybe, coming back up to the Bay. But hey, it's his call. So 1B in Tony's top 3 quickly, Paulie, is on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your level of concern or worry with this Butler thing?
What in terms of what am I concerned that it will work or will not work?
Just like are you worried at all? Maybe you're not worried at all.
I am worried. I'm a little concerned about it, and my biggest concern is what I mentioned Monty Poole was talking about last night. Pardon me, which is the just the fit stylistically. He doesn't really play Warrior style ball. He plays more of an Eastern Conference rough and tumble shot creator kind of basketball, and he's not really a pace guy. He is getting older, by the way. He's been in the league a long time. So, I am concerned. Yes. And I'm concerned about how it's going to mesh. I don't know. It's hard to speculate. Again, the Jimmy Butler that I loved is about 5 years behind us in the rearview mirror. The Jimmy Butler of right now, the guy who just put on a drama show in Miami, I am a little worried about it. And I would hate for that to happen here. And because that just poisons everything. When one guy goes mutiny like that, everything else suffers around him. So, could I get your answer on that? For real, how do you feel?
I think it sucks that I'm not like super psyched about the move, Like, I'm not like, oh yes, we got Butler, let's roll. And that's not my reaction. And I'm looking at like Steph post game last night, and he said all the right things, but he wasn't saying it with like joy.
Right.
And then watching Steve Kerr talking about losing Wiggins, he wasn't like, oh hey, we wish Wiggs the best and he's gonna flourish wherever he goes. And it was like, it wasn't a joyous interaction by Steve Kerr either. So
no.
I'm hoping that, because I read that Curry and Butler were texting back and forth with each other, and I just hope I hope for the best. I don't know what else.
Me too. No, it's
legitimate. It could go either way. It could go either way.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, Butler he's not out of shape, but he hasn't played a lot since December 20th.
Right.
He's been suspended 3 times.
I know, it's brutal. It's freaking brutal, man.
So, all right, number 2, Tony's top 3 as we roll on here.
Yeah.
We're going to shift gears to Niners, and we're also going to talk to Maioccos, some Niners too.
Niners!
Right? And we're just Niner heads on this show, and I think a lot of the people in the comment line are as well. With the offseason coming up and then the draft in April, and we'll talk to Maiocco about this. Do you want to see the Niners go make a trade for Myles Garrett? Do you want to see them bolster the O-line. There's that kid out of Texas. I think Kelvin Banks is his name. Or do you want? There's that tight end from Penn State that the people are high on, Tyler Warren. Of those three avenues, which avenue would you take?
Well, the sexy one is Myles Garrett. I mean, putting Myles Garrett on the Niner defense, I mean, that's a hell of an appealing idea to kind of rattle around in your brain. But at the same time, I don't know how realistic that is. I don't. We'll talk to Matt Maiocco about that and ask him.
Yeah.
I also have to acknowledge that no football team in the NFL can get to the Super Bowl without a really good offensive line. And the offensive line the Niners were trotting out last year, it was patchy at best. It was not a great year for the O-line. There were some injuries, but the guys that were out there, I thought kind of left a lot to be desired. In a lot of instances, Purdy was not getting the protection that he needs. You got to protect any quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
So that has to be addressed, Tony, regardless of Myles Garrett, here, there, wherever he goes. They have to beef up the O-line. I think that's one of the top priorities. That's just
me. You know what? I wanted to also play a little Fred Warner talking about Myles Garrett, if you don't mind.
I insist. I love Fred Warner. Fred's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Here we go. Stand by. Let me make sure the volume. Here we go.
And who do you have in the Super Bowl this weekend?
Not really.
These two teams were
that's the wrong cut. I'm sorry, Paulie.
Who's this girl interviewing him with like the Bono shades on? What the hell was that?
Oh man, I'm looking for it now. I can't find it.
All I know is I just saw Gene Simmons scroll by. That's all I know.
There's a lot of stuff in the bookmarks that we have stacked in the bookmarks, but it was basically Fred Warner saying, "Hey, I'm down with bringing on Myles Garrett," but he also said the right thing about it, like he loves the current roster as well.
Yeah, but they always say that.
Who wouldn't want them? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I personally, I want them to protect Brock Purdy because I feel like any quarterback is a ton better when they have protection.
No kidding.
You give Brock Purdy time. It's like you give Matt Stafford time. He's dangerous as hell, and Brock Purdy's much better than Stafford. I
got to tell you, only because you mentioned his name, my respect for Matt Stafford has gone up quite a bit. He's, you know what? I got to give it up. Guy's a pretty damn good quarterback, pretty tough guy, and I've been hard on him over the years because he's one of the Rams, and he beat us in the title game a few years ago. But I got to give it up. I got to give Matt Stafford his respect. He's been pretty solid. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Hey, before we get to Maiocco here in a couple minutes, Matt Maiocco joining us at the bottom of the hour. Number 3 in Tony's top 3 again. It can be sports. It's a wild card. It can be anything. And yesterday we talked about how Black Sabbath is getting together for one last show. And with that news, we were very excited about that news yesterday. I want to know, I know my answer to this, but I want to know, what is your favorite Black Sabbath album?
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Oh, man. Do you want to go first? I need to think. First of all, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, you know what, Tony? It almost kind of depends on what day you ask this question, because I might have a different answer tomorrow. But I kind of know where I'm going to go. But you go first. I want to hear what yours is. What's Tony's favorite Black Sabbath album?
For me, it was the album Master of Reality. I love that album. It just holds. For me, it was the album that kind of locked me in for them, and then I went back to the first album. And then I went to Paranoid. So for me, and the song Into the Void is one of not just my favorite Black Sabbath songs, it's one of my favorite songs ever. And how it's kind of like written back in 1971 or whatever.
Correct.
And it's speaking about present day, the situation present day.
It's kind of creepy, actually. If anybody's out there, you're interested in going to check out the song Into the Void by Black Sabbath. Even if you don't want to listen to it, just read the lyrics. The song is about the earth in the future being so polluted and it's in disarray that it's almost uninhabitable. So in the song, people are like fleeing the earth to start new colonies on different planets because the earth has been so messed up. But anyway, I can't dispute Master Reality. I think at the end of the day, Tony, for me, it always kind of comes back to Volume 4.
Oh, dude.
Volume 4. There's so much on there. You got Snowblind. You got Wheels of Confusion. You got Tomorrow's Dream. Bro, you got Supernaut. You know what I mean? And then you got Under the Sun. But you know what else I like? I'm a sneaky fan of the album that came, I think, it was right after Volume 4, the album Sabotage. Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe, Megalomania. these are, I mean, this is like some of the best music in my mind recorded in the last 50 years. You really can't go wrong with any of the Ozzy Sabbath albums. They all have worthwhile material on there. But I think Volume 4, I'll say Volume 4 for Paulie.
I mean, like you said, and Jeff Winkler says that's a really hard question. Yes. And Jeff Winkler also said, what's up, Winks? He said this. He said, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or Volume 4. You got John Joseph saying Volume 4.
Winks has always been a Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath head. In fact, Winks had that album before I did. He kind of turned me on to Sabbath, Bloody. Yeah, but I'm a Volume 4 head, so I'll go with 4. Great question. Difficult question to answer.
And just to get it back on the Niners tip before we get to Maiocco, I want to look at Robot Centaur. Myles Garrett to win now. Okay, drafting a young center and O-line is to be competitive for many years to come, but he wants Myles Garrett now. So that provides quite the segue, man, because Matt Maiocco just entered the waiting room, Paulie. I'm going to let him in if you're ready to rock for it. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Stand by. There he is.
What's up, guys?
Matty, it's so good to see you. Say hello to Matt Maiocco, NBC Sports Bay Area 49er insider, one of the most trusted voices in the 49er community. Matty, we've launched our new circus show over here. It's Polymax Particles. Say hello to Creative Tony, former creative director at KMBR.
What's up, Matt?
We're all starting new endeavors now, Matty. So we're out here in the Wild West doing our thing, talking some Niner football, getting ready for the Super Bowl. I've been following your work, Matt, as I always do. Great job all season long. Pre-game, post-game, all your work online too. NBCSportsBayArea.com. You can follow all of Matty's articles. And of course, we see him on TV every Sunday. So Matty, first of all, I'm guessing that you're not in New Orleans, but I can't really confirm by the looks.
I am not in New Orleans. Yeah.
Okay.
The plug was pulled on the trip to New Orleans several weeks ago.
Yeah.
So usually what we have done in the past is Jennifer Lee Chan, my colleague, will go to New Orleans. If the 49ers aren't playing, we'll go to the Super Bowl, say on the Monday, do Radio Row, stockpile all kinds of interviews, and then I'm out of town on Friday, which is probably the best way to watch a Super Bowl is, if you've seen one in person, it's great, obviously, but honestly, the best place to watch a football game, I think, is on TV.
Matty, you're all over. That's exactly how Murph and I used to handle that. Yeah. We would do Radio Row all week long, and then we would get the hell out of Dodge on Friday and go home and watch the game in the comfort of our own couch and, home and stuff like that. I totally agree. That's the master plan. It really is. Yeah.
So this year, not doing that. We'll be going to the Combine, be going to the NFL annual meeting, but no Super Bowl. New Orleans is the best Super Bowl city.
No question.
And so, there's part of me that obviously wishes I was there. The other part, though, man, I've been battling this funk, this crud, whatever it is. So I'm also going, kind of glad I'm not there because my body would be rebelling right now.
Right.
Matt, do you have a favorite New Orleans spot since you've been there so many times? Or I know that's putting you on the spot, but
I have several. So I've this is absolutely crazy, but I've been going to New Orleans so much because, through the years, when I first started covering the 49ers, the 49ers were in the NFC West. So was the Saints.
Yep.
So I would go there every year. I had this one bar called oh my gosh, Tropical Isle. There we go.
Nice.
And so I'd go there every year, and I got to know the house band to the point where we're like, really good friends.
Nice.
And anytime I walk in there now, it's like, Norm at Cheers.
Yeah.
And if I ever take somebody that is with me in New Orleans for the first time and we walk into that bar, they're like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, how do you know these people? I've known them for 20 years. So that's my hangout.
Nice.
It's Tropical Isle on Bourbon Street. It used to be right next to the Dungeon, but now it's on Bourbon Street. But my food places, when the 49ers were there for the Super Bowl in 2013, a friend took me to this deli. I've been to the restaurant, which is right around the corner, Kushan.
Yes,
Kushan.
The butcher. The
butcher is the best deli I've ever been to in my life. Yeah. You can grab a dart, throw it at the menu, and you'll be happy. I went there 7 consecutive days.
Dude, that's so funny. I did the same thing with Murph. We had the same experience. We walked in there one day for lunch, and it was like, you know what? We're coming back here every day, and we did. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. And then the other place, every time I go to New Orleans, Once I will go to Pasquale's Manali.
Yo, dude, yes, Matt. I know, I love that place.
And get the barbecued shrimp.
Yep.
Because I've never. I mean, you're talking about food you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
And if you do get it anywhere else, you'll leave disappointed because there's only one New Orleans. So those are my 3 go-to spots, and then I sprinkle in about a half dozen or more other places as well.
Hey, Paulie, Pascal's Manali, they'll sit you down if you get the barbecued shrimp, they'll put the bib on you.
That's fine.
Come up and put the bib on you.
It's in everybody's best interest to protect your dress shirt. I got no problem bibbing up when I'm eating seafood. Maddie, I want to do a couple of broad strokes on the Super Bowl and then spend a couple of minutes asking Niner questions. But just, I guess, checking in with Matt Maiocco on this matchup in the Super Bowl. I mean, first of all, I don't like either team as a fan, so it's a tough one for me. But I'd rather see Philly get a ring. I'd rather see Jalen Hurts get a ring, Saquon get a ring, than watch Mahomes get his 3rd. But I guess, how do you see this game shaking down, Maddie? Who do you like in this game and why?
Yeah, I mean, so your old buddy Murph asked me that question this morning. Who do you think the 49ers would rather see win? And I went with Kansas City. Because I think there's this part of, Kansas City has already beaten the 49ers twice.
I know.
And so do you want to see another team from your conference do something that you weren't able to do?
It's actually a good point. Yeah.
So it's almost like just, the Chiefs can just keep piling on their Super Bowls, but just don't start involving the Eagles in this too. That was my thought, that the 49ers are probably going, we'd rather. Now, inside the building, and if you've been around the 49ers, if you know Bob Lang, if you know Vic Fangio, that'd be nice to see those guys get a couple of rings. But this matchup, I don't know how the Chiefs have done it, because from darn near week 1, they're just working this tight wire act where it's
totally. Yep.
I don't know how they won that one, but they did.
Right.
And the next week, and their offense, you would think of Patrick Mahomes' offense. If you just say Patrick Mahomes' offense, you would think 35 points a game, 40 points a game. Well, the first time they scored 30 the entire season in any one game was in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
Yep. So the fact that they were just able to win so many close games throughout the regular season, I thought, you know what, their luck's going to run out in the playoffs. That, and I even kind of circled. At some point, like week, I don't know, 12, 14, 15, I was like, I bet the Texans beat them.
I thought they had a shot going in. I really did. I thought they had a shot going into that game.
And I think they did. They did. So anyway, now I'm just like, they're just a machine.
Yeah.
And now they'll probably lose. But I've come to the conclusion now that they're just special. It
kind of reminds me, Maddie, of the Michael Jordan Bulls years when there were so many great teams kind of orbiting around the Bulls. You had, the Jazz, you had Patrick Ewing in the Knicks, you had Charles Barkley with the Suns, and nobody could beat the Chicago Bulls. So there were a lot of teams that never got their rings. A lot of great players never got their rings. And this is starting to feel like that to me, where you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Josh Allen, you could throw the Niners in there, having been on the doorstep twice. There's so many great teams right now that just can't get over the finish line because the Chiefs are in the way. But from that to some Niners, actually, you know what? Let me ask you about this George Kittle Award, because I see he got this NFL or 2024 NFL Salute to Service Award. Can you tell our listeners and viewers like the nature of that award and what that means to George Kittle?
I would think that it means a lot to him, because he is very into military service and showing support for the men and women who serve our country. And it's from day one, he's been like that. And, I've seen him on the sideline, go up to military personnel. And, we were in Jacksonville a couple of years ago, and someone brought, his uniform to give to George Kittle on the sideline. And George was blown away. A week later at Levi's Stadium, that happened in Jacksonville. A week later in Levi's Stadium, that guy was George Kittle's guest.
Wow.
Flew him across the country.
Wow.
To come to a game.
That's cool.
So if you're fortunate enough, and I don't speak like this very often, but like his family is great. His
Mhm.
parents are awesome. I don't typically get to know parents of the players or wives of the players or
Right.
siblings or whatever, but they're such down to earth, good people, that whole family is, they support George and everything, and they really feed off of each other, and they just their hearts and their minds are in the right spot. So I was telling Jennifer on our podcast, I was like, of all the accomplishments that George Kittle has achieved in his career, I bet this one probably ranks at the top of the list for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, good. He's a great guy. George Kittle's a good human being, and you can hear there's evidence of that with the story you just told. Matt Maiocco is our guest, obviously with NBC Sports Bay Area. Tony, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, the Niners put out a great video where I guess they kind of tricked George and told him he was going to a meet and greet, and then when he walked in, they were presenting him with the Salute to Service award. And watching that video, he was really taken aback by getting that award, and watching him interact with the everybody that was there was really touching. And it was like a different side to George,
Yeah, the only because he's it's funny because I've seen him now, since the day he broke into the NFL, since the day that he arrived at Levi Stadium for the first time.
Yeah.
And I kind of walked away from that first encounter going, what's this guy all about?
Yeah, he's a little kooky. Yeah.
Does he think he's a comedian? Like what's going on here?
Right.
And my first reaction was, it takes a different kind of guy to play in the NFL.
No
it takes
doubt.
a very serious minded guy, and it takes somebody who's, not going to cut corners. And it just takes a different kind of kid. And at that point he was a kid. And I remember thinking, I'm not sure about this guy. Is this an act? Was he just nervous? And that's the way. But you know what? That's the way he was day two. That's the way he is now. He's matured, no doubt about it. He's grown. He's he's used to be kind of a comedy routine every time he would get in front of the media, and he still is funny as heck.
Yeah,
but there's also a heck of a lot of substance there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well. So and I remember his first off season. He had a really good rookie year.
Yep.
What do you have? Like 43 catches or whatever he had. He had a good rookie year. Not a great rookie year, but a very good rookie year.
Yeah.
And then that next off season, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan kind of challenged him. Like, you have to get in better shape. You have to take care of your body better. You can't be getting injured. Like these little nagging things that bother you your rookie year. And he really took that to heart. And I would love to see a side-by-side comparison of a photo of George Kittle as a rookie and what he looks like now. Because, man, he works his butt off to stay in shape and stay available for the 49ers.
Yeah, and he still is one of the most dangerous guys in the NFL with the ball in his hands. Once the ball is in Kittle's hands, really anything can happen. He's so elusive and strong and breaking tackles, and very exciting player and a great Niner, loved by the fan base. Now, Tony, before you came on today, Matt, Tony and I were talking about Myles Garrett and the Niner. The fan base is beating the drums, man. But I would like to do a little reality check with you, Matt. Like I guess the question would be how excited, how should they gauge their level of expectation with Myles Garrett being out there, and obviously how well that would fit in, or he would fit in San Francisco. Like, what's the reality here?
How should the 49ers fan base gauge their? I would say zero expectations.
See?
Here we go. And the reason I say that is because I really think that expectations there's nothing ever good that happens from expectation. But here's the other part of it is that, if you look at it, 49ers will, I'm sure they've already been talking about it inside the building. Is it doable? And I don't know that it is. And the two reasons would be, first off, for the Cleveland Browns, what is it going to take for the Cleveland Browns to part ways with Myles Garrett?
Right.
I don't know what it is, but, the number 11 overall pick, that's a good place to start for the 49ers. And then it's going to be something beyond that as well. But I think with Myles Garrett, whatever team he goes to, he's going to expect more than what he's making now.
Yeah.
I would think that the expectation would be whatever team is trading for Myles Garrett would then have to give him an extension. He's not just going to play the final 2 years of that deal on the contract as it's currently written. I would think that his agent would say, okay, if you want Myles that bad, and we know you do, then give him an extension through the 2028 season.
Yep.
And make him the highest paid player in the league.
Yeah.
So that would be my expectation of what it would take. And I just don't know that the 49ers are in a position to have Bosa, have Warner, have Kittle, have Trent Williams, have McCaffrey, pay Brock Purdy a ton of money, and then make Myles Garrett the it might very well be, and I don't know if we were going to talk about Brock Purdy here, but Brock Purdy is going to end up being, I would assume, one of the top paid players in the NFL.
I would think so too. Yeah.
And then you already have Bosa, one of the top paid. I forget. I don't even know how it lands right now. Bosa signed his deal in 2023, which he was the highest paid defensive player at that time. So now you're going to pile on Myles Garrett.
Exactly.
On top of that. So I don't think it's all that realistic, but I would assure 49er fans, just because I know how those guys work, they've talked about it. They've considered it. They've weighed what it's going to take. And, maybe they'll come to the conclusion that, you know what, this is the best route for this organization, both short-term and long-term. Let's do it.
Wow.
There might have to be some repercussions elsewhere on the roster, but I wouldn't expect it to happen.
No, it's a totally reasonable answer. Tony, go ahead, because I know Tony has some draft questions for you too, Maddie. And we saw your draft up online too. Nice work up there. So, Creative Tony, whatever you have for Maddie draft-wise, let it fly.
Well, we talked about like trading the 11th pick for Myles Garrett. It's been discussed a bunch. But I know you like that tight end, Tyler Warren from Penn State. Would you go with him, or would you do O-line like that kid Banks Jr. from Texas with that 11th pick?
Well, here's my thing with offensive linemen in the draft. I just think it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And I think it's, if you look at last year's draft, I mean, if you can just pull it up quickly, look at how many offensive linemen were taken in the first round, and look at how many offensive linemen played as well as Dominic Pooney.
Yeah.
Good point.
And the answer is probably none of them, but let's just say Joe Alt. Joe Alt was number 5 to the Chargers. That's one offensive lineman in the first round. It's really difficult to hit on those guys. And I don't know how much you guys pay attention to or how much credence you give PFF, but let me just give you some. I was just looking at this because I was curious. So there were 3 offensive linemen, rookies last year, draft picks, who were and this is kind of arbitrary numbers, but 75 to 80 is how they graded out, which is good. That's a good winning, really solid. And so those 3 were Dominic Pooney, taken 86th overall. It was Jack Frazier, taken 51st overall, and Joe Alt.
Wow.
The next group is the mid 60s.
Wow.
And so the mid 60s, and just to give you a little bit of perspective, the mid 60s is where Jake Brendel and Aaron Banks ranked.
Wow.
And that group, there's only 4 of those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, the only first round pick in that group is Talise Fuaga from New Orleans. And now even below that group are all those first round draft picks.
Wow.
The remaining guys. It's JC Latham. It's Olafashano. It's Marius Mims. It's Trey Fotano. It's Jordan Morgan, Graham Barden, Tyler Guyton. So my point is that that doesn't mean don't ever take an offensive lineman in the first round. But there is an element of buyer beware, because it is a really difficult position to play. And you might not reap any benefits from that. You might not get any dividends from taking a first round draft pick as an offensive lineman until year 2, 3, or 4. The guys who step in as rookies and perform at a level that would represent a first round draft pick, man, those guys are rare. Those
Well,
guys
that's
are
right.
really
I was so blown away with what Pooney was able to do at this point. I mean, he just came out, he just fit right in, and he was playing great football. In fact, at the end of the year, I didn't look at his final stats, but did he allow a sack? Did he not?
He did. He kind of. I think maybe he wore down a little bit late
Yeah.
in the season,
But
but no,
still,
I mean,
the fact that he was, he didn't allow a sack for so many weeks. And then, obviously with the ground game too, his work was just stellar. What a great addition he was.
And so, I would tend to err on the side of taking an offensive lineman a little bit later.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think like the Eagles and the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs have a first round draft pick starting for them on the line. And the only Eagles first round draft pick that they have starting that they took was a guy they took back in 2013, Lane Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Wow.
Mekhi Becton was a first round draft pick, but he was a bust for the Jets, comes to the Eagles as kind of a under the radar signing. And he's, did well. He's doing well at guard, but it's just, unless there's a game changer out there, unless there's a one of one guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I would do it. I don't think
Okay.
I think
And
I'd
Matt
do a
too.
playmaker or I'd do a defensive lineman.
I love the Tyler Warren. I mean, and plus, if I'm Tyler Warren, I'm hoping I get drafted by the Niners to play under George Kittle. I mean, is there anybody better to kind of show him the ropes?
And Tony, I don't think you'd even be playing under George Kittle. I think you would be playing with George Kittle.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because think about what the 49ers have done since Kyle Shanahan has been there. It's been 21 personnel, right? Two backs, one tight end. There will be a time when Kyle Juszczyk is phased out, and it almost happened last year. Last offseason.
Yeah.
And so there is a way to kind of transition from two back, one tight end to one back, two tight ends.
Nice.
And just think about what you could do if you had two tight ends who can do it all. I mean, think back to Delaney Walker and Vernon Davis.
That was great. That was such a dream scenario.
So think about the mismatches it would cause for a defense. How do you go out? Do you put your base defense out there?
Right.
Well, if you do, who's going to cover both of those guys? If any linebackers covering Kittle or Warren, boom. If you go light and get your nickel defense out there, you can run the ball down teams' throats. So I thought it was fun to put Tyler Warren at number 11, and it's a good talking point anyway.
Oh, I love it,
man. Well, Maddie, last name I want to ask you about today, and we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming by, man. I want to talk to you about Deebo Samuel. Last thing today, just to be honest, I wasn't crazy about what I saw from him last year. I know he kind of came to life later in the season, but that was after, kind of a lot of bad moments, man, with Deebo attacking the kicker on the field, making the comments, I'm not involved enough, dropping passes when Birdie's, hitting them in the numbers. But then again, like, as I said, I thought on the back end of the season, he started to kind of look like Deebo Samuel again, breaking tackles, running with purpose. But by and large, I was disappointed with Deebo. So I guess the question would be, is he still in the 49er front office in their mind? Is he still part of the long-range plan, or is Deebo now somebody that maybe you consider moving to bring in help in other areas?
I mean, I think you got to consider it if you're the 49ers. And I mean, Paulie, what you just laid out was perfect. I mean, that's exactly kind of the chronological events that we saw from him. I mean, it used to be, what do you remember about Deebo? A guy, sorry, I'm battling this.
Sorry, brother. We'll get to go. Last 2 minutes.
I just want to finish this thought here is that with Deebo, the first guy never would bring him down.
Not in the old days.
Yeah. Last year, it seemed like the first guy always brought him down.
That's right.
Until late in the season.
Yeah.
And so, but also what late in the season showed is that team is a lot better when Deebo is playing like Deebo.
I know, man.
Setting the tone, running aggressively. Even the defensive guys perk up when they see him bulldozing some guy. I think it was that game against Miami, like at the goal line. He's just running through people. And he looked like the same old Deebo.
That was great.
I mean, I asked John Lynch point blank at the end of the season, is Debo going to be back? And he's like, we're not in the business of letting good football players get away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take that for what it's worth.
Right.
But I think I expect him to be on the team.
Okay.
This is the final year of his contract.
Right.
And I also think, I know some people, did you see the picture of him in AJ?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
He looked a little big, to be honest with you.
He did, man. I saw that too. Yeah.
But he knows he's entering his contract year.
Right.
What do we know typically about guys entering their contract?
They're going to perform generally. Yeah.
They're going to show up in shape.
Yeah.
They're going to show up knowing with a chip on their shoulder, knowing that they have to play for their next contract. So if that's the Deebo Samuel the 49ers can get on the field in 2025, the 49ers will be a better team because of it.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we have an inspired, in shape Deebo Samuel in 25. And Maddie, thank you so much for the time. Just great to see you, man. Great to catch up.
Great to see you too, Paulie.
I'll see you at the next Dwight Clark event too. I'll be at that one. I think it's coming up in April. I'll see you there. Yeah. Tony, go ahead. Yeah,
Matt, I just want to say Don's Gales tonight on the Hilltop.
Ooh, true story.
Yeah, what do you? Yeah, there.
See, there it is. He's repping. He's always repping.
Are you going to be there, Tony?
No, I'm not, but I'm going to be watching, man.
Okay, well, I will be there. Heading out.
Of course.
No, should be a good one. Should be a good one. The Gales got the better of the Dons a couple weeks ago. They played a really good game, but the Dons are undefeated on the Hilltop.
It's going to be a good one tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
A quad one game. It's probably one of the best games in college basketball tonight. So it should be a great one.
Have a great time. Have a great time on the Hilltop, Maddie, and we will catch up again soon. Thanks for the time, Matt.
All right, Paulie, thank you so much. Tony, great to see you.
Thanks,
Have a good one, guys.
Cheers, man. Yeah, there we go. Well, Tony, great talking to Matt Maiocco, one of the great Niner voices. And you know what, dude? Just a great dude. Just a great guy.
Like I could go there. It's like the questions are stacking up in my head as he's talking, right?
I know it always happens. Yeah.
And I just want to keep him here forever, but he's so good with his time. I mean, like he said, he was on with Murph this morning. So I really appreciate him taking the time. And just to share, Paulie, one more time, because he mentioned it. And I didn't even really think about that.
What do you got?
This picture of Debo. Check
with
it
the
out.
gut. I mean, you got a little gut going here now. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And it's like, he's got a point. And it's interesting. So the contract year will be a big deal for him, man.
By the way, there have been years I've looked like that at times in my life. You know what I mean? I've been there.
God, yeah,
I've been there. I've been trying to fight it so hard, man, because people think I'm like naturally skinny. That is not the case at all. I have a skinny frame, but there's nothing worse. I've always said this. There's nothing worse than like a skinny fat guy. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy like me with a skinny frame, and then I come rolling out with like beef ball gut. Worst look in the world. So I have to fight that constantly, and it's a pain in the ass now that I'm over 50. The whole thing sucks, but I'm going to keep fighting. I'm inspired by your Mick Jaggers, guys like that. He's running around. He's 80 years old, so it can be done, okay?
No question.
It can be done. By the way, you talked about Billy Idol the other night. I saw Billy Idol take his shirt off. I almost wept. I'm like, Billy, what is this guy doing? He's ripped like he's like a martial artist, like Bruce Lee or something. It's crazy. But anyway, it can't be done. Tony, we're going to wrap it up early today, so kick in that exit music. And also, we're going to have to dismiss the class as I promote tomorrow. And thank you, friends. Naomi, Marty, Miguel, the aspiring botanist, maybe my favorite handle of them all, the aspiring botanist. Big Don Peralta, always. Miguel, of course. Marty, sometimes I like to say that twice if I already did. John Joseph. All of y'all, Darren Reyes, and Patty from Napa stopping by today. What a great treat that is, Patty. You're always welcome. Please do subscribe to the program. If you dig the show and you haven't yet, please do subscribe. That would help us a great deal. And Creative Tony, on the way out, your final thoughts, and then I'll tease tomorrow.
Here's my final thoughts, Paulie.
Yeah, dude, every time you play that, it fires me up and I want to hear more. Hey, coming up on the program tomorrow, Rags, the one and only Rags, joins us with his top, I think it's a foursome now. I think we're going top 4 reasons this is the least likely Super Bowl matchup, least likable Super Bowl matchup in the history of Super Bowls in our lifetime. I hate both teams, and I know I'm not the only guy. I think you're right there with me, T. Sirianni on one sideline and the Muppet on the other. I mean, it's my freaking nightmare.
It's brutal. That's why we have to pick a prop bet for tomorrow. Remember the prop bet that we're going to pick?
Sure.
We got our particle pick of the week. We've got our musical assignment.
Thank you.
I want to dive back into some bookmarks tomorrow. and I just want to. I don't know what to say about the Super Bowl except that I hate both teams, and
Thank you.
I guess I'm going for Eagles if I have to pick a team. That's why I want to do a prop bet and root for that.
Hey, what up, Rising Wolf? I see you just crept in here. Marcel as well. Yeah, hashtag free Murph, dude. That thing is starting to spread. That image Don made with the fist.
I'll get that tomorrow. Hey, Don, thank you for that. I'll get that up tomorrow. The free Murph picture. Yes.
See, you know that like gorilla? He's a very famous like street artist. I think he's Shepard Fairey. He's the guy that did the Barack Obama Hope poster, but he also did that street campaign where you had Andre the Giant and it said obey. And it would just start appearing all over these cities, like, and nobody knew where it was coming from. I want the free Murph thing to start popping up like the obey posters, like on buildings, billboards, train stations, buses. Oh, free Murph everywhere you look. It's a great image, Dom. A great image. PMP merch. We're working on that, actually. We had a conversation about that a couple of nights ago. So you want to know what, Marcel, since you asked, there actually will be some PMP merch. That's coming in about a month, I think. As we get into March, we had a meeting about that and some other stuff the other night. So, yeah, merch is coming. Creative Tony, thanks for your services, buddy. Thanks for the Debo gut picture. Thank you for all of your services. What hat are you rocking today, by the way? You've always got some new hat.
This is, as a bald man, I have to protect my dome from the sun. And today I was out and about. And
it's pouring rain. There's no sun, but go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, actually, the sun came out down here later in the, like around midday. It was gorgeous, man. Fresh, clean air after a good rain. This is, Brett.
Well, I was going to say, shout out Grateful Dead. Here Comes Sunshine. Tony, go ahead.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good
this is just Russian River Brewing Company hat, buddy, which you can find at Longbridge Pizza, which we will talk more about tomorrow.
And I am supporting my Canyon Inn lid. I basically have vowed to never take this thing off my head. It was given to me by Tim, the owner of the Canyon Inn. I was so honored. And again, for any 49er fan watching, listening, passing by, get your ass to the Canyon Inn. This place, I don't even know how to describe it. I walked, it was like an amusement park for 49er fans. So much memorabilia, articles, great photos. The guys used to hang out. Bro, I ate a hamburger that was called the Hacksaw Burger, okay?
Yeah.
For Hacksaw Reynolds. I mean, it's Niner mania in this place.
If I could just tell the viewers of what it was like to walk in with you the first time you had ever walked
my jaw hit the floor.
It was like you were the kid walking into Disneyland for the first time.
Yeah, it was like Christmas Day. Yeah. One of the great favors you've ever done for me. Creative Tony takes me to all his secret spots, and that one I'm trying to share with people because if you like the Niners, you will love this place. All right, everybody out there, stay dry. Thanks for stopping by. We love you guys. We really, really do.
Yes.
And at some point, we are going to take this thing on the road. We'll do some shows, some public shows, so we can all hang out together. We're working on a variety of things behind the scenes right now. And again, tomorrow we'll talk to Rags. We'll give you that musical assignment, particle pick of the week, all the stuff Tony brings, the bookmarks, the top three. It's all happening. Y'all stay dry. Y'all be cool and enjoy USF Gales. Yes, Tony?
High noon. Just want to remind everybody, high noon tomorrow.
Yeah, and interpret that any way you want. You know what I mean?
Come to the party any way you want.
I told you guys, it makes me happy to know that guys are out there partying, watching the show. I swear to God, it makes me happy.
Last week, I cracked a beer during the high noon show because my particle pick of the week was a beer from Ghost Town Brewing in Oakland. So
I know. Maybe I'll join you tomorrow. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll pour myself a glass of Pinot in the middle of the day.
I'm staring at a cooler right now that has Miller High Lifes in the cooler right now that I might just crack as soon as we finish this one. So,
dude, as the mayor said in Do the Right Thing, where's the Miller High Life? Where's the Miller High Life? When he walks into the grocery store, he's just yelling at the guy. The best. He makes him buy a Miller Lite. He goes, "You're asking a lot when you're asking a man to change his beer." And I stand with the mayor on this one. All right, kids, have a great afternoon and a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's high noon on Polymex Particles. Tony, love you. Love you guys on the comments line. See y'all tomorrow. Peace, man.
Peace, y'all.